What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Murph, and today we're going to talk about some fuckery last night because my OBS decided to reset all my settings on my recording devices, and I made an entire 40-minute long video of me doing a full Pestilent Scourge run on this account, and none of it recorded any sound. So if you guys were some of the few who tuned into it before I realized how I fucked that up, sorry. Um, Yeah, I really didn't proofread last night's video a whole lot. I basically just chopped it up and then threw it up on YouTube, as I do with most of my content. Because who's got time to edit and proofread and fucking quality check? Fucking not me. Oh my god, what am I doing? I'm a fucking rookie. I didn't even put my light on. Ugh. Check this out. You guys are seeing behind the scenes right now. Oh god. Oh. Okay. Now I look somewhat human. All right. So what we're gonna do, because I kind of fucked that up yesterday, is tomorrow we got blog posts coming out. We'll cover blog posts tomorrow in tomorrow's video. Saturday, Sunday, probably no content this weekend because it's a holiday weekend. I'm gonna have some fun, enjoy myself. I'm grinding out World of Warcraft pretty hard. I might stream some of that this weekend, so follow the Twitch in the description if that interests you. Um, but today we're gonna kind of do a two for video, so this might go for a while. I'm not gonna do a full Pestilence playthrough, but what I do want to do is first off, I want to talk about the Stark R&D event and give you guys a quick down and dirty on kind of how to max out the points on this event, as you know, early to mid game free to play players. God, say it fucking a million times a day. Say it right, and also just kind of go over the Pestilence Scourge event, where I'm at, how I did on it so far, and kind of cover the whole am I full of bullshit talking about these events being doable as earlier game players, or was I right? Who knows? Whatever. Anyways, Stark R&D got off to a bit of a rocky start yesterday, but we're not here to talk about the failings of the event or the company. We're here to talk about the event and how you can pass them, because nothing else is worth your time. Stop listening to outraged content and outraged fucking media covering bullshit on this fucking game. It's not worth your time. What is worth your time is figuring out what you can do to play these events efficiently, properly, and get as much juice as you can squeeze out of them. So, two things mainly. The first thing, this Stark R&D thing, you get literally just for, I don't know. This is the leaderboard, I believe, where it tracks all your points throughout the entire thing. It's a 6-day event for the main milestone that resets every day. So I guess this is your tracker for the entire event. As you can see, I did not hit the full 15 mil yesterday because we lost a few hours of blitzing, and also I had to work today. So this account, it's typically difficult for me to get, like 24/7 blitzes in on this account, just because it's on my iPad. That's kind of hard to. It's either iPad or BlueStacks, both which are kind of hard to just whip out while I'm at work, and also illegal for me to do at work technically. So this is the main event we're worried about, the Stark R&D. So again, we kind of talked about this last week. You're going to get points by spending gold, by blitzing, and by blitzing with Bionic Avengers. I'm not going to get into the actual math breakdown of this event, but essentially you want to have Bionic Avengers at gear tier 13. What you want to do for this event is, this is literally how I started off every single time I go in here. We're at tier 7, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to drop it down a couple of tiers. So let's go ahead and throw some burner teams in to lose a few games in a row. Oh, gotta clear them out first, idiot. All right. Let's drop it down to like tier 5, and then we'll get our Bionic Avengers team together. See what we can squeeze out of it today. Bam. Lose there. All right, we're down to tier 5. Let's get our Bionic Avengers in here, and let's get our Blitz together. So the nice thing about this is that it is staggered from like the 7 p.m. time frame. So really, if you fall behind and you have to spend gold, you can really spend gold between like the 4 o'clock reset time. Well, it's 4 o'clock central time for me. But there's a 3 hour block between the actual like server reset time and all your milestones resetting, and these actual Stark R&D milestones resetting. So if you're behind, or you're finding yourself behind too much, you can actually spend 2 high roller milestone events worth of gold. And actually, no, the high roller milestones factored in this, isn't it? Scratch all that. I'm an idiot. Anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna sim this. We're gonna start with our Bionic Avengers. We're just gonna sim through until we clear all of our. Fuck, that was dumb. That was really dumb. I need to pay attention here. All right, we're gonna sim through until we blow through all of our 25 and 50 core sims. That should be a win. As you can see, we're just going to be blowing through this milestone down here. Even with just 2 Gear 13 characters, you can actually max out the event. Not max it out at 15 mil. That's going to take a lot of dedicated blitzing. You can max out the part that we care about, which I'll show you in a second here. So, almost done with our 50 core blitzes. That is... What the fuck? We lost 2 of them? Fucking bullshit team. All right. I think we still have our challenge up for the day. Let's see if we can get some blitz energy back. Make sure we don't overcap. 290, 38. Okay, so 470. Whatever. If that's what we're going to have to deal with here, we still got probably 8 hours before I go to sleep here. So plenty of time to make up for those blitzes. But, sorry, got red number squirrel there for a second. So as you can see, we already hit almost 3 mil points in this milestone. Just off of literally just doing our Bionic Adventures. We haven't even gone through the rest of our full rotation yet. So that's about, I don't know, a third of the way to where we care about. Because as you can see, this milestone fully finishes out at 15 mil. And all these rewards out here, they're good, they're cool. But what we were really caring about is this, a milestone 29 at the 8 mil mark for the imperfect serum. That's going to give you, I think it's like 5,800 something points towards the actual monthly milestone for Abomination. That's where you want to get. So I'm not going to go through the rest of my Blitz rotation right this second because I'm not going to bore you guys with that. You guys have seen enough Blitz content. You've done enough in the last couple weeks. You don't need to see more. But what we will talk about here is we're going to talk about the Pestilent Scourge event and this fucking game, man. Pestilent Scourge featuring Doc Octopus. I don't get it sometimes, but essentially, so I ran one full run last night, recorded it. I hit 291,000 on difficulty 4. What I ran into is that my web warriors aren't strong enough to take down node 10, and I don't have dark hunters vested in yet. But I think what my strategy is going to be here is actually no. I'm sorry, I take that back. My best run was 298. I did full clear on this one. I was thinking of my main. So at level 71, I've got all my web warriors at gear 13, and I pushed through, clear the whole thing on difficulty 4 with no scourges, with an end score of 298,000. If I can get a run at 400,000, I will unlock Morgan Le Fay before the actual Scourge event ends. And I did start out at 55 shards because I was able to get some the last go around, but not too many. But this is proof to me at least that you can, at level 70, you can unlock this in one run if your account's built properly. I really think by the end of the milestone or the leaderboard rankings and rewards that come out at the end of this, I think I'll have gotten over the required amount of shards to unlock her in the first place. And this is doable. So be patient, stick to it, and kind of just an overall review of this for those of you who aren't too familiar with it. Basically, this kind of acts similar to like a smaller Dark Dimension where it's 10 node campaign in a row. And each segment of nodes, it should be 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 6, 7, 8, 9. Each of those pairs all have their own required trait that you run. If I remember right, it was 1 and 2 for this are hero. Nodes 3 and 4 are global. 5 and 10 are the web warriors, dark hunters. 6 and 7 is your villains, and 8 and 9 is cosmic. So you need those required teams to run each of those sets of nodes. And I mean, I cleared it on difficulty 4. I know difficulty 5 is kind of what people aim for, but in my experience, difficulty 5 really isn't doable until you hit like level 75 and you start unlocking that gear 14 tier on characters. But as you can see here, basically there's 2 different kind of mantras on how you can max out your pest or your scourge events in general for your best run score. So first off, what I want to talk about is the rewards. So there's leaderboard, you get rewards for milestones, and you get leaderboard ranking rewards at the end of it. The way you clear these milestones is it takes whatever your best run or your highest total is. So you don't have to actually full clear the campaign. It's just whatever the highest score you've had in one single run, even if you only cleared 2 nodes, that is the highest score here. And you can run this an unlimited amount of time. So essentially, you can keep playing around with going higher difficulties and lowering scourges, or going lower difficulties and putting more scourges on to really see how many points you can squeeze out of this event. And if you fuck up, if you lose a character, just like in not like in Dark Dimension, but if you lose a character during the run, they never come back. There's no heals, there's no revives. So a lot of times, especially with a younger account like this, with a smaller roster, it's not as wide. You tend to start to kind of double up on characters throughout these different nodes. And if you lose one early on, it might fuck you later on because you lose out on that character and has high synergy. Like last night, for instance, I lost my my Nebula during my Villains nodes, and it kind of fucked me on my Cosmic node. So I had to start over, go back through. But you can restart your entire run at any time. You're not penalized for it. You just start off at 0 and try to go back in and do it the right way. You can combat cancel at any time. There's no penalty to that. You can basically just manipulate this and keep trying, and wait for RNG to get in your favor if you have to. You can throw in smaller teams like to take the first wave of attacks to burn some ultimates and special abilities off the enemy teams. There's a lot of different strategies you can go about doing this with, but essentially, in order to get that best run score as high as you can, there's two different schools of thought. One, you just do the highest difficulty you can do, go through it, kind of, and just do that, right? The other one is you drop difficulty down a little bit and do as many fucking scourges as possible. Because as you can see, for instance, level 5 here, I top out around 416,000 points, right? Well, if I drop down to level 4 and I start throwing some of these crazy scourges on here, I mean, you wouldn't really want to run all of these scourges on at the same time, but you can see, I mean, we're very quickly now at a lower difficulty level with all these modifiers. We're now going to blow our score out of the water if we had just done difficulty 5, right? So, a couple of different schools of thought on that. What I personally do and what I did yesterday is I will just run regular like difficulty scourges without any scourges added to it, kind of, and figure out what my ceiling is. So last night I cleared difficulty 4 very easily. Difficulty 5 was a whole other story. My young Avengers were getting wrecked on nodes 1 and 2. And so due to that, I fall kind of somewhere in the middle of that. So now what I want to do going forward is I want to do difficulty 4, and I want to start adding some of these weaker scourges to it, get a feel for that, and then just kind of plug and play and start adding it and manipulating them, try to see how much score I can push out. And I think realistically with this account, um, I would like to push for 400,000 by the end of the event, so that way I can unlock Morgan Le Fay with the milestone rewards before the actual leaderboard rewards come out. But I think realistically, 350K and 400 somewhere in there is where I'm going to end up. But I'm definitely going to play with it this weekend and see where I can end up. And I'll probably end up actually recording like a full playthrough video for you guys if that's something you want to see. I just don't plan on releasing it right now. I just don't have the bandwidth for it, and it's annoying that I did the whole thing last night and just could not. Maybe I'll just go back through last night's video and just do like a commentary or like a react video to my own fucking run. I don't know. It's such lazy content, but I might do that. Anyways, guys, what I will go through real quick is just kind of the teams that I did run for this. You can see what the approximate level is, and I'll just call this video because I feel like I'm just kind of rambling at this point. But I wanted to get something out there to kind of address yesterday's video and just kind of cover this Scourge event in a very general basis. But so the teams I ran for nodes 1 and 2, I ran Young Avengers. Now, the first node was a very easy clear for me with them, but I had a lot of difficulties with just the initial wave on that second node. I typically had to send like a couple sacrifice teams in there just to soak up a few abilities at least. And then on nodes 3 and 4 for global, I ran Wakanda, and honestly, like they just fucking wiped the floor with them. No challenge, no issues. They just like fucking Michael Jackson fucking moonwalk right out of the like through both nodes. No issues with that whatsoever. If you do decide to do that as like, if you're following kind of my farming guide and running more or less the same similar teams that I am, one thing to note is that Killmonger is likely going to be one of your best villains, so just keep an eye on his abilities and his health coming out of that node 4 area. Make sure you don't lose him in nodes 3 and 4 because that's a very good character that you can run in villains that you should already have invested in. Now nodes 5 and 10 with Web Warriors at gear 13 on difficulty 4, super easy. I think I think was it 10? 10 I had to throw a sacrifice team out there, so I did just throw my Dark Hunters out there to soak up some abilities, but yeah, 10 took a few separate attempts of resetting RNG and all that to actually get through it, but Node 5 was super, super easy. Now, for villains, I was kind of hamstrung and didn't have a whole lot to pick from. I had Nebula on this team as well, but I mean, they fared fine, not great. This was definitely probably the hardest kind of section for me to get through was that Node 6 and 7 because I don't have a whole lot of investment into villains yet. And after that, I kind of had a combination of two teams that I ran for my Cosmic. So I actually ran my Here was Guardians, the first one, and they got waxed. So I ended up running this team here instead with the Infinity Watch and just, kind of some other random cosmic characters I had. And they kind of lit through the first node, and then I was like, well, okay, let me throw my Asgardians in on node 9 as like a sacrifice team, and then I'll run these guys afterwards. And the Asgardians fucking cakewalk through node 9. Just with the amount of summons, the death proofs, and all the buffs that are out there, if you can survive long enough to get like your first Thor like fucking AoE smash that you get from like 4 or 5 charges, it basically clears the fucking board of all the minions. And then whatever that doesn't clear, your Mighty Thor's AoE that does the lightning line all the way down and flips all the buffs. There's a huge amount of buffs and weak characters that you can just spam with that. And it was a fucking breeze. Highly, highly recommend if you have this team, try it for Node 9. They're great. And then I didn't really have a whole lot else that I could bring into it. So those are the teams that I built or that I built for the Scourge. That's what I ran through them with. And yeah, as you can see, like I had most of these guys gear 13. Actually, Miss Marvel was gear 11 when I went into it. I just got her to gear 13 right before I filmed this, and I think Shuri was gear 12 with like 4 or 5 pieces on her. But as for everybody else, they're right where you see them now. So Heroes Guardians were all 13, Web Warriors were all 13, my villains were 2 out of 5, 13. Um, yeah. But anyways, that's this is doable as a level 70 character as long as you've built your account, in a fairly efficient way with not a whole lot of fat on it, building for these Horseman Scourge events. You can do it at level 70, and we should be getting our Morgan Le Fay unlocked hopefully by the end of the weekend, regardless of the leaderboard rankings or not. And then I'll be 3 out of 5 on my Pestilence team. I just gotta wait for Agatha or Wong to get through, whether it's orbs or they become free to play farmable at some point soon. We'll see. But that's going to be it for today, guys. As always, have a good night. Stay safe. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Let's have a conversation. And always remember, set your fucking 2-hour blitz timers.